Are we live? Hello? We're live, aren't we? Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Doc Bookshop. We are so excited to have our dear beloved Arthur friend Brentom Jackson here on today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by the Doc Bookshop, and we're going to talk about his latest release. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. It's The Way of the Wailing Women. So we're going to talk about it's the second book, actually, right?
Yeah.
Second book. And so I'm going to check and make sure our channels are working. As I do that, please gather in and please share. We want everyone, as many people as possible, to hear this conversation. This is an awesome story. We got an awesome Arthur. And so we just want to make sure that we are operating properly, because I have done a whole lot with no sound. So I don't take any chances anymore. So give me a minute while I check our YouTube, make sure we are good. All right, we are good. And I see, okay, wait a minute. I got to adjust this some. Wait a minute. I don't want to make sure. Okay. I can see better when I'm on my feet. Okay, so Chuck. Well, I call it, okay. Y'all, for those who know and love him dearly, we call him Chuck. But right now, because we're discussing your book, okay, it is Brentom Jackson, okay? That's this Arthur name, Brentom Jackson.
That's my real name.
That's your real name?
That's pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
That's the name on my driver's license.
Okay, that's the name his mama them gave me, right? And actually, I know that because how did you get that name?
Oh, look, funny story. Until the day I was born, my parents thought I would be a girl, so they had a name picked out, and the name was Crystal Champagne Jackson. So
no, for real.
So yeah, through the grace of God, like they transformed me into a boy, and then when I came out, my parents had to pick, a name, a new name.
And it was ready for a boy. So what did you come up with?
So they combined my mother's name, which is Brenda, and my dad's name, which is Tommy, and they came up with Brentom. Which I see a lot of people.
We're so creative.
With that. I see a lot of people with that name now. I was one of the first, and it's spelled different than most of the time when I was in school.
You know another Brentom?
Yeah. They used to misspell it, and it would be Brenton, Brenton, Brenton.
Brenton, yeah.
And now I see a lot of people with the name Brenton. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's because of misspelling of my name. It got popular.
All right. Well, we're excited that you're here, Brentom Jackson. So let's just get started. First, let me give a shout out to our audience. We actually have an in-studio audience. Woo! We love our in-studio audience, okay?
Dear colleagues.
We have, of course, our virtual audience, and we thank you all for tuning in. Please come to the Doc Bookshop. Brentom will be here until we'll be here for an hour or so. What, till 5-ish?
Till we finish it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, really? Make your way. I know it's kind of rainy where we are, but make your way to the Doc Bookshop. Get a copy of this book, The Way of the Wailing Women, and get it signed. This is a wonderful gift too. Holiday season is coming up. So, all right. So let's get started with the book. All right. Inspiration. What's the inspiration, motivation behind this one?
So the inspiration. So my writing career kind of took off around the year 2020 during COVID. Because I had a lot of time on my hands, and also I was going through a lot of grief. Like a few of my friends passed during that time. Some related to COVID, some just it was their time to move on. And I kind of reached back and just kind of started writing. The Way of the Wailing Women is really based off of a sermon that my grandmother used to preach a call for the wailing women. Um,
Okay, interesting. So your grandmother was a preacher.
yeah, my grandmother was a preacher. She was one of the only um, pastors that were female here in the Fort Worth area in the full gospel tradition or denomination.
So were you in church a lot?
Oh yeah, I was in church every
Okay.
every day. So when my grandmother passed a couple of years ago, I sat down and I wrote this book based off of one of her sermons, and I also wrote a book, children's book, which comes out May 2026, called Jubilee Jumps for Joy. It's also based off of
It
that.
all makes sense to me now. Okay, so now I see the connection to the church.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because you have Elijah Easter suit. Right. Okay, it's a tribute to your grandmother.
A tribute to the grandmother, and simply because I think when you're getting into writing, one of the best places to start with story inspiration, say write what you know, and I mean, especially when I'm thinking about childhood, that's all I really that's all I really know. And what I try to do is I try to blend what I know with what I've learned, and in my mind, there's three institutions that really sustain the Black community and culture. It's been the Black church, and it's been the Black bookstores, and it's been the juke joint, right? And on the opposite.
I don't respect that, but okay,
Hey,
you're
right.
right.
It's been the juke joint.
The juke joint is very important.
And so in this book, I try to blend all three of those realities. So Araminta, who's the leading character, she grows up in this small rural area that's kind of a cultish church, which was inspired by one of
I'm so stuck with the juke joint. Go ahead.
which was inspired by one of my relatives, and she is also a punk rock musician. So there's that juke joint element. So she sneaks off and she enters this punk rock battle of the bands, and she's using the songs and secrets from the church to hypnotize the audiences at this punk rock festival to win the grand prize. And so that's that element, and then how the you know bookstore idea kind of plays into that is that between her and her friend, the writing of the music is really important. So we see a lot of references to, rock music, black rock musicians. We see a lot of references to black literature in there. And it's really written for an audience of young adults who are reluctant readers. That's why it's written in short verse form. So they can read it, feel fulfilled that they got a full story out of it, but also not be intimidated by it. So a lot of inspiration from my educational past and then my childhood and the work that I do now.
Okay, so Armanita.
Yeah.
Let's start with
Araminta.
Araminta.
There you go.
Araminta.
Yeah.
Oh, what that mean?
That's Harriet Tubman's name before she became Harriet Tubman.
Really? I knew it was a secret sauce. I know it. See, y'all shut. I'm sorry. Brentom Jackson is deep, so I knew it was something to it. Okay. Okay. So she let's. I don't want you to give us any what you call that secrets in the book.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Yeah, I don't want you to give us any spoilers, but I want you to tell us how. Okay, so how often? Tell us a little bit about Aramita.
Yeah.
Going to the church, and then going to the what is she experiencing? Is she is she part of the choir? Is she part of the the worship? What's she doing?
So the book centers around this group that kind of serve as the the mothers of the church, right? The wailing women.
I would love to hear your grandmother's sermon on the wailing women. I think that was
and so they serve as kind of the mothers of the church, and they possess the power of life and death in their songs, right? And Araminta believes that they are responsible for the death of her mother. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
And so part of her quest is to figure out the mystery around the death of her mother. But one of the
No, was her
yeah,
mother part of the way?
no, she was not. She was one of the people kind of seeking healing from the way of the Wailing women.
Oh, okay.
But could have also been killed by the Wailing women. We don't know. But you got to read the book. That's
Okay.
come by it, and then you'll find out.
That's a spoiler he won't give us. So that's kind of
And so yeah, so I think one of the underlying themes of the book is also one of the heavy inspirations is Octavia Butler and her work around the parable of the sower. And the book takes place in a space and time, possibly in the near future, where books have been banned. And the only literature that people are allowed to have is what's considered holy books or religious texts. So
it's a pretty scary world.
it is.
I hope we never get there.
It is. And even though Araminta, has this difficulty with her father, who is the leader of this church, she discovers that possibly the work that he's doing is trying to preserve some form of history, some form of, secular text within this religious experience.
Okay.
There's a lot of elements in it.
Interesting. Is the father somewhat involved with the murder of? I'm just. That's another spoiler. Okay. Ooh, this is hard. Okay, so you got to read the book to see who's all involved in this mystery. This is a perfect book for this season too.
Yeah. Mystery thriller without the gore and blood, if you're not into this stuff.
Yeah. So okay. So let me ask you this. So Araminta.
Yes.
Am I saying it right? Araminta.
You got it.
Okay.
Got it.
So kind of Araminta.
Minta, yeah.
Araminta.
Minty for short.
Minty.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you call her Minty in the book?
Yes, that's her stage name. That's her punk rock persona is Minty.
So how do you go from gospel to punk rock?
Well, that's an interesting concept.
I mean, how did we go from gospel to punk? I guess rap.
yeah. That's an interesting concept. So
she's singing church songs and then
she's learning the secret. So one of the things about the Wailing Women and one of the kind of mysteries behind that concept is that when a child comes into this world, what's the first thing that they do? They wail, right? Mm-hmm. They scream, and that becomes their only form of communication for, a few months of their life, right? So, and if you've ever seen a baby really wail, like it's a full body experience, and that is.
You just saw well. Was he a wailing baby?
He was a nice baby. He wailed a few times, only when he was hungry and when he was wet. But other than that, he was cool. Okay. But I mean, you can really kind of see that their full stomach expands, their body moves, and they're crying out for help or announcing to the world that they're here. And if you listen to like a real, my family was deep down holiness. So there was screaming and shouting and jumping, and that was there. And when you go to a punk rock club and you observe a mosh pit and you listen to the sounds of the music, they do a lot of wailing too.
I see it. Yeah. Okay.
So it fits, and also in the late '70s, one of the kind of pioneer punk bands was this band out of DC called the Bad Brains, and their music was highly influenced by jazz, gospel, and reggae, and they had a pretty massive hit called Attitude. We have that attitude, but it was based off of this concept called positive mindset attitude. And so yeah, they kind of brought kind of a gospel flair to punk rock pretty early on.
Interesting. What other punk rock?
The other punk rock groups I like Living Color. If you haven't checked them out,
not a punk rocker. Okay.
Huh?
Not a punk rock.
You're not a punk rocker. There's a great film that inspired a little bit of this book called Afro Punk.
Queen punk rock?
Not,
Not really. Okay. 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 I'm not.
or anthem rock, but it's good. You know, it's good. It's good
Okay.
stuff. But yeah, punk rock has some different kind of genres within it.
So let me
just
ask
like
you
any
this.
other music.
So is this kind of based on you? You have an interest in punk rock music? Is that why Araminta is a punk rocker?
Not really.
No. Okay.
I am a music connoisseur. Like I said, I was inspired mainly by this documentary that I watched years ago called Afro Punk, and it kind of explained that to what the punk aesthetic, right, that we kind of think of, like the spiky hair and the black, leather,
Black fingernails.
this stuff. Yeah, to exist as a black person in the United States is to always be punk, right? It's to always to be looked at as this kind of outsider group, right? This kind of
Like how he just
and so that it becomes kind of like a character within itself that she's entering into punk rock, which is actually seen as like a genre of music that black people really don't, find their way into. But also, although right?
Let me just say,
yeah,
although
history,
I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska.
oh yeah, see,
So I know black
punk rock, yeah,
with the spiked hair, the jacket.
yeah,
I see it.
yeah.
So it's a real thing. Okay, all right. So Chuck, what else you want to share with us about this book? I love one thing I love about YA books is for readers who are scared of chapters and a lot of words. I even tell adults, to read YA books. I mean, because some of them we got to reintroduce a lot of people to reading. And YA, the way they write YA books now, did you just happen to do this, or were you like, they told you, you're going to do a YA book? Do it in poetry form so that they can read it.
No, there was some parameters that the publisher put on the books because they do. So Elijah's Easter Suit, which was my first book, was published by kind of a commercial, traditional publishing house.
Big house. No, just
The Way of the Wailing Women is published by educational publisher, right? So their main target audience is libraries, schools, educators. And the reason they want the book formatted that way is because they are targeting specifically, high schoolers who possibly read at a third grade level. So the vocabulary is dialed down. Only no more than 45 words exist on a page. There's only 200 words, and you got to tell a full story, which was challenging at times, but I think I did enough to flesh out Araminta's story, but also make a good story for those reluctant readers.
Okay, so oh, okay. In studio audience, we have a question.
While you're and Chuck and having this personal conversation,
well, that's what an interview is. Okay.
you're here. No, anyway, the material in this book, would it get caught up in banned book?
That's a great question. So she's asking,
do you think
will this book land on the banned book list? And
what's in there that they
are you
could
dealing
possibly want to ban?
Yeah.
So far,
it hasn't, right?
So far, it sounds like getting past the banned book list.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with
And this is kind of a interesting thing for me because with Elijah's Easter Suit, I do tackle a lot of civil rights issues in that book. I tackle the concept of segregation during like commercial retail. And I have a pretty extensive essay in the back, which kind of goes through the history of slavery and how clothing became a part of the Black experience as a result of being deprived of clothing during slavery. But I think because the title has a religious connotation that nobody has really looked that deep into it. And like that is also
Look, it has Easter on it.
right.
Everybody's not Christian.
Yeah. And so that is kind of one of the ideas that is in the way of the wailing women too, that possibly, history um with a religious veneer keeps you insulated from kind of like political, you know, backlash. So, but
Okay.
no, I don't know. I will see that the book was released in August. So maybe by next, you know, spring or summer, there might enough people may have read it.
See.
to see.
If the,
But I don't think so.
What's that group?
So.
The Ladies of Liberties get you.
Yeah. Mothers of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions for our wonderful in studio audience?
He's saying the wailing women of the church, right,
Yeah.
are kind of responsible for what happened to her mother.
Minty's mom.
So you're 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 making the church a little
Sinister.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that's when you talk about groups that would read that and you would say that the wailing women, as innocent as they are, could have some kind of murderous backlash or voodoo or,
Yeah. Yeah.
but voodoo, what is voodoo?
Right.
What is voodoo? But anyway, for those who believe in that,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a
Now, did
that's
you
a
have
big
bad
concept
experience
too.
in church or something such that you made it sinister?
I think anybody who grows in deep church experience, I think anyone who grows up, period, you walk away with some trauma from the adults around you, right? In my professional world, I'm a therapist, right? And like, one of the first things I try to impart to a client is, you know, your parents probably did the best they can, and they probably are the reason for a lot of these things that you're thinking right now. And so when you read the story, yeah, Araminta is 5 or 6 when this event happens. So her interpretation of events is shaped by, her remembering, what that experience was. And what I like about it is that there is a kind of redemptive arc where she comes to understand what her mother, who she was, what she's about. She comes to understand what the Wailing Women is about and what their aim was. And she comes to understand what her father's aim was. And she's able to, I think the moment you grow up is when you're able to look at your parents as humans, right? Rather than villains or superheroes, right? And that's a key sign that like you have kind of come of age. So it's a bit of a coming age story too, that like she's able to kind of finally view her parents as, okay, these are people with motivations and aims, just like my motivation and aim was to win a punk rock concert by using, you know, stolen secrets from my religious sect.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? Well, you know what? I really think, shucks, if we need to delve into this book. I think we need to do a book. I'm going to suggest this for a book club.
Yeah.
we've been doing, Dinah's been on this book club,
Okay.
so, and trying to get a YA or just a
Yeah.
young adult, a young person, or young people reading.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a challenge, but we do have a group that meets here. No, we actually have an in-house group, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it because I'm going to suggest it to Amber with Sisterhood Foundation and see if they can start, to read this book since it's dealing with a yes, ma'am, female character.
Audio?
Yeah.
And
Is it on audio?
No, it's not. And I
Are
think
you
I
gonna
had a
do
voice
audio?
for it. I should do audio.
And you do, and you be the
Be
narrator?
narrator.
Because that makes all the difference in the world, the narrator.
It does. It does. I'm a believer in that. So,
I just say that because we have a generation that does audio.
Yeah.
And they'll say, I read a book on audio.
I listen to it. Yeah.
And they read the book on audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
because they feel they are reading and having time to do other things, and they're taking in books.
Yeah.
And a lot of the younger people are going to audio.
Yeah. No, that's
amazing.
That's a true concept. And I think, from my past experience working in education, it's probably even getting past audio books now that was hot, for a while. But right now, most people absorb, the information from, podcasts, interview style. So, what we're doing here.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
ways. It's a lot of ways, but we want to always promote the art of reading.
Reading, yeah.
And the art of reading involves
Turning the page.
turning the pages,
Yeah. Decoding the letters.
marking the pages, just making sure you complete the book. The art of reading. We definitely want to continue.
Yeah. And
But of course, we however you need to digest it is how you digest it.
I say the book is written for YA, but I also say it's written
yes,
for
definitely.
adults with ADHD. which I am one of. So I know that it works. Poetry was my first way to read, and once it kind of turned on that I could read I remember I still had a book on my shelf, an anthology by Dudley Randall called Black Poets, and I picked it up, and I would read poems and get stuck on the poet. And at a certain point, I realized, in the book about this thick, I read this whole book, right? And I felt so accomplished. And then I would go to the Black Bookworm. I was just talking to the owner earlier today.
Sonia, shout out to
Miss
you,
Sonia.
And she loves Brentom Jackson.
Yeah.
She said, "Put him on the phone."
I was one of her.
Okay.
One of her Black Bookworm kids, and I would go in there, and she would sell me the books too, because I got really into Iceberg Slim and Donald Gowan's books.
That's
Yeah.
the deep side. That's the side after the church.
That's the juke joint.
Yeah. So after I tackled that poetry book, I was like, okay, I can read these, thick books, and then so yeah, Iceberg and Slim and Donald Goins was kind of my inlet, that early urban fiction stuff, and then I just kept going. And honestly, I think if you can come across a book, West 44 Books is the publisher. They have tons of books written, novel and verse style, specifically written for young adults who struggle with reading. And if you can get 2 or 3 under your belt, I think it will kind of build your confidence in reading. And you'll find yourself kind of, reading as much as possible. That's what it did for me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see yourself writing any more YA novels?
Yeah, I have one coming out spring of 2026. It's called Gym Junkie.
Gym Junkie.
Gym Junkie. Yeah.
Okay.
So in my past life, I was.
Come up with these titles. Do you make a list and you just pick, or are you one of them people that dream?
I listen to.
So I'm always curious how writers come up with titles for their books. So some of these titles are like we just talked about one, Sky Full of Sky Full of Elephants.
Sky Full of Elephants.
Yeah, like
that's a good book too.
That's a good.
Um,
yeah, so I'm just so we start, and this is a great title too, The Way of the Wailing.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I was just driving one day, and I was trying to think through like sayings from my grandmother. I think I was driving to her funeral. I was trying to think through, and I remember that title. Where is the Wailing Women? I think that was a title of a sermon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered if you can't find joy, leap for it, and that became the title of Jubilee Jumps for Joy.
Oh, okay.
So Gym Junkie is something
is that
I put together. Nah, that's related to. Now I'm getting into me now.
Okay.
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 Gym Junkie is probably so. That's going to be my first secular book. I mean, it has nothing to do with religious experience.
So we're leaving one of the institutions behind.
Yeah, and it focuses more on the work I did with a lot of young boys I counseled when I was doing working in the counseling department at TCC.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them dealt with an issue called bigorexia. And there's lots of books written about anorexia where it affects a lot of young girls who see themselves, they have body dysmorphia issues, they see themselves as overweight, and they take extreme means to not be overweight. But on the opposite end, right, is bigorexia, where boys see themselves as skinny and scrawny, and they go to extreme means to become muscular and big, right? And I had all the Charles Atlas magazines when I was a kid, and I was drinking Ensure with every meal to try to do push-ups. So
you was trying to gain that muscle mass.
Yeah. I finally got it. Then it started turning into a fat body fat. So now I'm on the other end. But in the book, so it's a young man who struggles with that. And so I try to write one, male character, uh, one female character, vice versa.
Yeah, I like.
Well, I'm glad you did that.
I'm like,
because they always talk about women and girls and body issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time I heard
about
the male.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Body issues.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's a movie, Jonathan Majors movie before he went through his legal battle and it was shelved. Magazine Dreams. It's about a young man struggling with body image issues and addiction to steroids and things like that.
Okay. Well, welcome. We have more to join our in-studio audience. And also look like we got more to join us online as well. We're just talking about Brentom Jackson's new release called The Way of the Wailing Women. And we've been kind of talking about a lot of stuff, so I don't know how I'm going to summarize it for you all, but but now we're actually wrapping up, and so but definitely if you get a chance, you want to hear the what we kind of talked about, definitely go to our YouTube and check us out on YouTube. But so tell us you already talk about what's next.
Yeah. So May 2026,
but you also,
Jumps for Joy and Gym Junkie. Yeah.
Oh yes, okay. You're busy. Y'all, let me tell you something. I am so excited for Brentom Jackson. I really am, because this is huge. I mean, you are putting out basically 2 books a year now.
Yeah, I don't think about it that
way. And he's dealing with 2 different houses. Okay. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Good.
So how are you liking this, Arthur, this writing life that you have now? Because you actually retired.
Yeah.
And he's a full-time author. So how is that?
Yeah. So
you do a lot of traveling and book
Not
Paul
much,
said,
you know,
and not yet anyway.
not much. So my full-time job is um I'm a stay-at-home dad, which I didn't know the acronym was SAD. But it's been
hilarious.
it's been a happy experience. You know, so I'm a stay-at-home dad. So um when he gets to the age that he could travel with me,
Oh, that'd be fun.
that'll be fun, right? Yeah. I think that'll be cool. Um but I think the biggest part, so I'm a writer, right? And I have to grow into being an author, right? I've spent a lot of my life as a writer and a performer. So
You say that. Oh, you want
yeah,
the business of it.
the business of it, the
Yeah, okay.
marketing of it, the going out and doing book festivals and things like that. I have a resistance to it, but I have a,
You gotta get out there, Chuck.
I have a
And
resistance.
we were telling you, you gotta get your poster, you gotta get all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Your shirt.
Yeah, I gotta get all that. But,
Right now, I should have on a shirt that says "The Way of the Wailing Women" right on it.
yeah. So yeah, so I like the writing part, and I'm focused on that for these years, and I think um, after I'm taking a pause on writing right now and kind of like gearing up for these next two books to come out next year, which, you know, time goes by fast. They like tell you, okay, we'll publish it next year. And then you think, okay, I got enough time to really kind of, you know, get my stuff together before you know it, it's here. So now that I know that, I'm kind of like focused on the marketing stuff. That way I can go out with all of the books together and kind of do, you know, bigger festivals and meet and greets and things like that. So we'll see. We'll
Okay,
see.
okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
But do you see yourself getting involved with the adult books, or you just gonna kind of hang with the YA and children?
You know, in writing this book, it's kind of like also, like I said, reading a book. You think, okay, so at first, you know, a children's book is about 500 words. So it's like, okay, I got that. I can, you know, put that out. And then YA, you know, this which is called kind of a novella. It's about 200 words. So I was like, okay, I did that. And actually, I feel like the story, in the Way of the Wailing Women, was possibly too big for this book. So I have a dream book that I'm working on. That
Do you think there's a series to this?
Yeah, I kind of got the next book in my mind.
Oh, okay.
Now, will this be adult?
I think it'll be another YA, just to
YA
stay with the
series.
same
Are you
character.
gonna stay YA?
Yeah, but I have a adult novel in verse also, kind of that's percolating.
Yeah.
But usually, though, it affect you as a child. The church. You're starting with the church because that had an impact as a child.
Yeah.
That was your impact.
Yeah.
And your impact as a young adult. So as an adult.
As an adult, yeah, I tackle some of the first, which is an interesting story. Yeah, thank you. Now I have to go down this rabbit hole. Which is an interesting story because when I first started submitting picture book manuscripts, they were all nonfiction picture book manuscripts. So they dealt with historical figures and things like that, and none of them got picked up. And then when I wrote this one, it was immediate. Okay, and then another few years, I wrote nonfiction. It didn't get picked up, but when I wrote Jubilee Jumps for Joy, sent it out on submission, it was picked up by a publisher immediately. So I think it has just happened the way that it needs to happen. Those stories are probably more genuine coming from me. The publishers or editors can probably feel a little bit more. My approach to the subject matter is a lot more in depth than probably other books in that genre. So because Jubilee Jumps for Joy actually deals with a young girl going through the grief of losing her grandmother and using the Black church experience as the cathartic experience to deal with grief. You know, and I mean, it just kind of came as a concept. I want to one of my favorite parts of going to church when I was a kid to see who's gonna get the Holy Ghost and to see who start shouting. So I wanted to write a book about a little kid who experiences church like that. And so I mean, because that was probably a true lived experience, and I brought some genuine, authenticity to that experience, that it got picked up kind of immediately. So.
Okay. All righty. Well, we have I think we're out of our time here. Now we're going to go into our signing. So thank you all for tuning in. Where is Danya? Danya, thank you all for tuning in. We are so excited to have Brentom Jackson here at the Doc Bookshop on today. So if you are in the area, make your way to the Doc Bookshop. Come meet this wonderful author who's just blossoming. I mean, she's got some great titles out and even some coming forth. And so we look forward to all that you're going to do. This book, the new release that we're dealing with today, is a YA, but it's also for adults with, no, I'm not going to say that.
For reluctant readers as well, yeah.
Yes. Yes, but anyway, it's definitely a great read, and we love Elijah. You know that's one of our top selling books right there. I cannot keep Elijah East Suit in the store. I mean, when the minute I get it in, it goes. So that's. Ooh, you should be on the bestsellers list.
Write that down.
You know?
It did win the award for best debut for the.
Oh, did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
great. You award-winning author too?
I should write.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize you was an award-winning author as well.
Yeah.
I am so privileged. Okay. All right. So, Diane, we're ready.
Is he doing something with Octavia?
Yes, we're going to. Are you able to come in when we? Because I don't know what Diane's doing, but we need someone to turn the live off. So. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, Angela. Okay, but first though, we want to talk about. Thank you for bringing that up, Mother. We do want to talk about Octavia Butler. What? What did she say?
She said, "Yeah, that's what she said." Told me about the.
On Wednesday, October 29th. It's Wednesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. We're going to be dealing with Octavia Butler and all of her books. And we're going to really hone in on the parable of the sower. And Chuck, you said Chuck. I know. Brentom. Okay, forgive me, okay? You know, he's an awesome poet, okay? And so that's what we called him, okay? When he came, he was Chuck as the poet. But now he's Brentom Jackson, the author. So, anyway. But, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
Tell you about the 29th.
At 7 p.m., Brentom Jackson's going to be here. He did a wonderful job at the African American Read-In, just kind of summarizing Octavia Butler's works and how it's relevant with today, with all that's going on. And so we're going to do it here for work. It's going to be a great conversation. So mark your calendars for the 29th, Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Why Octavia, Chuck?
Why Octavia?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
influences.
Yeah, it's one of the influences for the Way of the Wailing Women, but also a lot of her work, which was in the genre of science fiction, a lot of the things that she predicted in the book of the Parable of the Sower has kind of come up in today's political climate, social climate, and so we're going to tackle those predictions compared to what's going on now, and talk about the solutions that she put forward to how.
Yeah.
I'll just end this one.
Thank you.